My name is David Orlando. This is my first discussion post, so I'll appreciate any feedback. Today, I'm going to talk about remote onboarding. And really, this was a problem for many companies that went internationally before COVID even became a thing. Before the pandemic, I mean, any company that went hiring internationally and went to the international market had to deal with a certain amount of remote onboarding of employees that maybe at a local office or maybe working in the US, but actually working for a company or an agency abroad. With the COVID pandemic, it's really caused a lot of companies to work their way into having work at home employees. And that disconnect from being in a remote site versus being working from home really presents a lot of challenges for remote onboarding. Um, because I can tell you that there's not really a whole lot of different things there's not many more things that can cause a bad impression than a very bumpy onboarding process. So in this case, this deals with a lot of different information technology systems. It really deals with most everything that an employee would deal with when they first walk in the door. But I really want to focus on the process of an employee walking in the door and what they might need access to and how that initial onboarding meeting goes, just to limit the discussion a bit. So before, at least in our company, remote hiring was pretty rare that somebody would be working from home 100%. And a lot of remote hiring was done where somebody would come on site and work with a site lead at specific locations that we had. This was for in the US and abroad. So we had the additional challenges of hiring clearance personnel that would have classified positions. So this is a complex task. I mean, bringing somebody in that's going to be working 100% from home, who is getting a laptop or a remote system that they're going to utilize as a terminal to work, in their classified environment, and then also needing to onboard with the company, which they might need to use personal equipment for if they are unable to do so with the classified terminal. So our companies, worked in several factors. Who they're going to work with on day one, who's their direct supervisor, what HR documents need to be put in, who is going to kind of be their person they're going to work with, the shadow to be able to get on board with some of the tasks for the job. Having all this in the onboarding meeting is a lot, and we really spaced it out to where an employee onboards over the course of 2 days, and in those 2 days we go through several different tasks. Our solution to this was using Microsoft Teams, which was fortunately something that we were able to work with the government with because they started to adopt Teams. And we'll have people sign into a Teams meeting. We'll go through the normal HR process of onboarding. It's required to have a webcam just so you have some sort of personable, you can see the person, the HR person you're working with to onboard. Sharing our screen and showing the different IT systems the person's going to need on day one when they on board is very helpful. We also work through a process flow where we show all those systems, and then we'll have their supervisor join the call, go over different items that are day one utility tasks or week one tasks that they'll be working with. We also have the person that they'll be shadowing, somebody that's on their team or group, join the call and start going over the different systems or just different items they might need on day one or week one. Doing this really helped the sense of culture with the company that was lost when you went from onboarding on site, having a face-to-face in-person thing, and not having any of that. Initially, onboarding was being done over the phone, which presented a very big problem with how smooth that onboarding process would go and how well an employee would feel, how confident they would be when they first joined the company, which can really stay with them for a very long time. So that was our solution to it. I'm going to post a couple of different articles that I did research with other companies having this problem, as well as some research on how the problem's been resolved elsewhere. But I'll be looking forward to the comments. Thanks, everyone.